have been bumped down the pecking order when you go to the website.
Is my favourite source for royal news, and quite right, not that we're biased. Harry said in his BBC interview that he was forced to step away from royal duty due to security concerns. I thought Harry and Meghan had decided to leave.
Betray the monarchy, exploit it for fame and fortune, humiliate it publicly, and don't expect to keep any of the spoils. The title isn't a participation trophy, it's a symbol of loyalty, service, and trust. And according to Parliament,
Prince Harry broke every one of those.
Story. Apparently, palace officials have been trying their hardest to strip Harry of his titles, but
Prince Harry broke every single one of those sacred rules, leaving a trail of scandal and outrage behind him. The latest push to activate the Titles Deprivation Act isn't just a symbolic gesture. It's a scalpel, cutting through the last royal tether with precision. If it passes, it won't matter how many Netflix deals, book tours, or podcast baskets Meghan launches. It'll be the ultimate reset. No more HRH. No more Duke of Sussex. Just Mr. Harry Windsor, living in his Montecito mansion, surrounded by security, staff, and the faint, hollow echo of everything he once had. And what's Harry doing in response? Losing it completely. Sources say he's pacing the halls like a lion trapped in gilded walls, devastated and enraged. He's called the move vindictive, claiming jealousy and media pressure are driving it. But here's the hard truth. This isn't a press stunt. This isn't a PR game. This is the government. This is law. This is what happens when you bite the hand that fed you and still expect dessert. Behind the scenes, insiders say Harry's legal team is scrambling, hunting desperately for loopholes, any way to preserve at least some of the title's protections. But there's no wiggle room. Parliament isn't merely reacting, they're establishing a historic precedent. Because if Harry keeps his title after all this...
You said, Jack.
Yeah, I agree.
So we are in total agreement. They are very dependent on each other.
What stops the next royal rebel from doing the exact same thing? Where is the line? Where does the monarchy finally draw it? Meanwhile, Meghan's side isn't exactly sitting quietly either. Her team is doubling down, accusing the UK of bullying, of racism, of attempting to silence a biracial woman who dared to speak up. But the public isn't buying it. Not anymore. This isn't about race. It's about respect, about protocol.
Does not distinguish between private or commercial use of the HRH. It reads, with the Queen's blessing, the Sussexes will continue to maintain their private patronages and associations.
About understanding that you can't sell your trauma for millions and then expect the very institution you torched to hand you a crown. And let's be honest, this isn't the first warning shot. Queen Elizabeth made it crystal clear. Step back from royal duties and you step away from the perks. That meant no HRH, no taxpayer-funded security, no royal brand to profit from. But Harry and Meghan, they smiled, nodded, and then went straight to Oprah with a flamethrower. Since then, it's been a steady stream of betrayal, each moment louder than the last. And now the House of Lords is saying, enough, consider the timing. Harry loses a legal battle over taxpayer-funded security, and hours later, that infamous BBC interview drops. And instead of a moment of humility, Harry goes on air, voice cracking with self-pity, claiming he still wants reconciliation. Reconciliation! After a memoir accusing his brother of physical assault, his stepmother of scheming, and his father of neglect. And in the very same breath, he mentions he doesn't know how long his father has left. People found it chilling, a strange, ominous note to drop in the middle of a PR tour, leaving critics and the public uneasy. It's like everything he does is a calculated move. Every interview, every anecdote, every photo of Diana's grave, another emotional chess piece in a game he thinks he's winning.
Harry and Meghan of their royal titles. The New York Post is reporting that locals in the UK say enough is enough, especially after Prince Harry's disastrous BBC interview, which aired.
But the UK isn't playing. The press has turned, the public has turned. Even the palace, usually so reserved, is quietly letting Parliament take the lead. Charles doesn't have to lift a finger. He won't be the king who cuts off his son. He'll be the monarch who simply respects Parliament's will. It's a royal manoeuvre in every sense. Clean hands, full consequence. And here's the kicker. The petition started as a whisper, a few thousand signatures, and now it's an avalanche, over 100,000 names and counting. And these aren't trolls or royal superfans. These are real citizens. People from Sussex, people from London, people from Scotland, the same people who lined the streets for Diana's funeral, who waved flags for Will and Kate's wedding. They're not angry because Harry left. They're angry because he keeps coming back to take. He took the sympathy.
Whether Prince Harry and the Duchess of Montecito should lose their official royal titles.
He took the spotlight. He took the name, but he gave nothing back. No dignity, no restraint, no truth. Just a constant stream of complaints wrapped in California sunshine. So what's next? If Parliament passes this measure, and it's looking more likely by the day, Harry won't just lose a title, he'll lose the power behind the brand. Hollywood might still call, but the prestige will fade. Deals will dry up. Because without Duke of Sussex, Harry is just another former royal with a tell-all and a podcast. And Meghan, she becomes a former duchess with a basket of royal-branded lotion and a broken Spotify contract. And that right there is the heart of the storm, the very thing Harry never saw coming. Not a fight with William, not a cold shoulder from his father, but a full-blown institutional purge, a quiet revolution, backed by tradition, powered by law, applauded by the people. Because when you spend years torching your heritage, don't be surprised when the Crown finally shuts the gates. If Parliament invokes the Titles Deprivation Act, Harry's Duke of Sussex title could be gone overnight. No fanfare, no soft landing, just gone. And that would set a precedent. So powerful, so final, that no royal and exile could ever weaponize their titles again. Remember, this is not about pettiness. It's about precedent. It's about drawing the line between birthright and betrayal. Because let's be honest, Harry hasn't exactly been quiet, has he? From Oprah to Anderson Cooper, from Netflix to that 400-page grenade called Spare, Harry hasn't just spilled tea. He emptied the whole royal kettle on live TV. Every revelation, every family slight turned into content. Public patience thinned until it snapped. People watched him sell royal trauma to the highest bidder, and now they want the one thing left tying him to that legacy, his title taken back. And you can bet Harry feels the walls closing in. Sources say he was blindsided by the House of Lords discussion. He never imagined it would come to this. But here's the problem. When you light every bridge behind you on fire, don't act shocked when no one wants to rescue you from the flames. This is the Crown's quiet revenge. No angry press releases, no dramatic royal statements. Just the slow machinery of British law rolling into motion, cold, silent, unstoppable. And Meghan, she's not helping. In fact, she's doubling down on that infamous gift basket from her new podcast. Yeah, the one labelled with compliments from Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. That may have been the final straw. After everything, she's still flaunting a title that she voluntarily gave up. The Queen herself asked her not to use it. Why? Because the HRH isn't just an honorific. It's a symbol of trust, of service, of duty. And Meghan using it to market jam in lifestyle interviews. That's not just tacky. It's a slap in the face, Parliament noticed. That HRH signature may go down in history as the move that pushed MPS over the edge. Because once you start title-washing podcast merch like it's Buckingham's Etsy store, you've officially crossed into royal parody. And the British government, they don't do parody. They do protocol. But here's what really makes this moment explosive. Prince William is done playing nice. William is planning to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles when he ascends to the throne. For years, he stayed silent, stoic, the classic Windsor way. But now, sources say he's backing this title removal push privately.
William is planning to strip Harry and Meghan of their royal titles when he ascends to the throne.
And might even be encouraging it behind the scenes. From William's perspective, this isn't just sibling rivalry anymore, it's damage control. Every time Harry goes public with another accusation, another behind-the-scenes anecdote, William's role gets harder. His responsibilities get messier. His family looks more dysfunctional. And as future king, that's a disaster he simply can't afford to let continue. He cannot let Harry keep dragging the crown through the California dirt.
A plan to finally strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles. Riley Sullivan.
And King Charles, he's not rushing to defend his youngest. No heartfelt statements, no gestures of reconciliation, just silence. Backed into a corner, attacked in books, accused of racism, even dragged into parenting critiques. Charles knows any move to protect Harry would only make things worse. So what's he doing? Stepping back, letting Parliament play the bad cop while he keeps his hands clean. Tactical retreat. Clever strategy. If this title removal goes through via Parliament, Charles gets what he wants. Distance, no drama, and he doesn't look like the cruel father punishing his son. Instead, he looks like a constitutional monarch, respecting the will of the people. Cold, calculated, exactly what the monarchy needs. Meanwhile, public opinion, it's a landslide. Polls show 62% of Brits now support stripping Harry and Meghan of all remaining titles among older voters and royal loyalists. That number shoots past 70%. Even younger demographics, once their strongest support base, are turning. Why? Because people feel used. Used by the Oprah performance. Used by constant invasions of privacy. Used by a couple who claim to escape royal life only to repackage it for profit. Even Sussex itself, the very county Harry once represented with pride, is now rising up in droves, signing the petition demanding his title be stripped. Locals feel abandoned, betrayed, and worst of all, used as a brand for a celebrity narrative. One resident put it bluntly, "He's not our Duke, he's just a Netflix actor with a title." That's harsh, but brutally honest, and it perfectly captures the growing sentiment across the region. People are done being the backdrop for a personal PR campaign, masquerading as royal duty, because Harry's biggest mistake wasn't walking away from royal life.
Of Sussex. I just find it very uncomfortable, and I think a huge number of your viewers would agree, that you either respect the system.
No, it was believing he could still exploit it, that he could turn his back on centuries of tradition, torch the palace, and somehow still claim the gold from the ashes. But Parliament is putting an end to that illusion. And here's the kicker, no one saw it coming. American media, once fawning over Harry and Meghan, is starting to turn. Yes, the very talk shows, glossy magazines and Hollywood pundits who once gushed over their every move are now asking the hard questions. Late-night hosts aren't holding back either. Jokes at their expense are piling up. And those Hollywood executives who once chased them for royal-themed content are now quietly whispering that the brand isn't aging well. Without that title, without the mystique of the monarchy behind them, they're just two wealthy ex-royals in a mansion, selling a story fewer and fewer people are buying. The magic is gone. Let's face reality. Their empire was built on two things, victimhood and royalty. Take away either, and the whole house of cards collapses fast. And here's the final dagger. The crown doesn't need them anymore. The firm is moving forward. William and Kate are climbing in popularity, Queen Camilla is quietly gaining respect, and the focus has returned to stability, tradition, and continuity. Harry and Meghan, they're the chaos factor. The palace survived them as a mere footnote in an otherwise orderly monarchy, and soon, if Parliament gets its way, there'll be former royals in every sense of the word. All eyes are now on Westminster. The petition climbs relentlessly, the debate intensifies, and the legal machinery grinds forward like a well-oiled engine, unstoppable. And Prince Harry, he's watching it all unfold, helpless, furious, and maybe, just maybe, beginning to realise what happens when you try to turn your crown into content. He wanted to reshape the system. Instead, the system is about to reshape him. The fallout intensifies in ways even Hollywood insiders didn't see coming. Behind closed doors in Westminster, fiery debates rage over what stripping the Sussex of their remaining titles truly means. Not just for Harry and Meghan as individuals, but for the monarchy's future. This isn't a symbolic gesture to settle a family squabble, it's a declaration. Royal privileges aren't commodities to be parlayed into profitable media deals. It's a last-ditch effort to reassert centuries-old traditions in a modern world. Some MPs argue the title's Deprivation Act should be invoked because Harry has proven he is no longer a trusted representative of the Crown. His BBC interview, which cost him a legal battle over taxpayer-funded security, revealed a cocktail of family grievances, emotional outbursts, and blatant disregard for protocols that once held the institution together. Every time Harry appears on screen, His image shifts from charismatic ex-prince to reckless maverick, and that's when senior lawmakers start questioning whether he's using his title as a shield to justify behaviour that would otherwise be unacceptable. What precedent does that set for others? Some in Parliament insist royal titles aren't just inherited like trendy accessories. They are earned through service, respect, and a commitment to uphold traditions that bind the nation. One senior MP put it bluntly in a private meeting: if we allow Prince Harry to keep his title while profiting off the institution he rejected, we risk turning the monarchy into a reality TV franchise. And that reality TV angle, that's exactly what the British public despises right now. The constant spectacle of a family feud played out for ratings across the nation. Opinion polls are trending strongly in favour of stripping Harry and Meghan of all official recognition. A recent survey revealed most British voters prioritise preserving the sanctity of the royal brand over accommodating self-serving media personalities. Harry's recent exploits, his public rants on American talk shows, and his tell-all memoir increasingly appear less like genuine critiques of the system and more like desperate attempts to cling to relevance, even if it means burning every bridge with his own family. Within Buckingham Palace, there's a sense of quiet relief tempered with cautious optimism. The palace is subtly repositioning, reinforcing the importance of protocol, leaving little room for the Sussexes to continue their brand of royal activism on their own terms. Insiders whisper that even William and Kate are privately pleased at the prospect of a more streamlined, dignified monarchy. Stability has always been the cornerstone of royal authority, and it's hard to come by when you have two loud, unpredictable figures dominating headlines around the clock. But what happens to Harry's narrative now? He once portrayed himself as the rebel prince, breaking free from royal constraints to forge his own path. That image worked for a while, especially during the early Meghan era, when his choices resonated with audiences who admired his defiance. But the novelty has worn off. His ongoing refusal to sever ties with his royal title reinforces the perception that he wants it all: royal perks without duty, influence without accountability. That's the core issue. Caught in perpetual contradiction, criticising the institution while exploiting its privileges, Harry loses credibility fast. For him, credibility was his most valuable asset. Losing it means more than a tarnished image. It means losing the power to influence. That title is his last tether to a legacy he once embraced. Without it, he risks becoming just a tabloid celebrity, reduced to self-pitying memoirs, glossy photo ops, and fleeting headlines. Media experts predict dire long-term consequences. Analysts warn that if Parliament strips him of his title, the Sussex brand will crumble overnight. Instead of being former royals with legitimate ties to history, Harry and Meghan could be recast as ordinary celebrities, a fate that, ironically, might benefit the monarchy. American media, once charmed by Harry's defiance, is already pivoting. Late-night hosts who once praised him now roast his outdated pretensions. One popular host joked, "Lose your title in the UK, at least buy a plastic crown in Hollywood." It's no longer enough to be disruptive when the public demands authenticity and consistency, two qualities Harry seems increasingly incapable of delivering. Even Meghan, for all her efforts to maintain a glamorous yet approachable image, hasn't escaped backlash. Critics accuse her of exploiting her royal status to advance business ventures, luxury skincare, branded cookbooks, lifestyle products, deepening public disillusionment. Her continued use of the HRH title, despite prior agreements to distance herself from royal branding, has become a lightning rod of controversy. Every interview she gives, that title looms large, a symbol of betrayal. It's a stark reminder. While she may project independence, she remains entangled with a system the British public is tired of romanticising. Back in Parliament, the debate over titles has taken on near-historic significance. Lawmakers cite the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917, an archaic law rarely used in modern times, now poised to play a starring role. Originally invoked to strip royals siding with enemies of their titles, It's now being framed as essential to protecting national heritage. Critics argue that allowing Harry to retain his title while chipping away at the monarchy sets a dangerous precedent, inviting disgraced royals or opportunistic celebrities to claim status for profit. And it's not just about legalities or historical precedent. This is about the monarchy itself, its nature as a symbol of unity, tradition, and service. When the public sees a prince acting above responsibility, using a title to attack family or profit from controversies, it erodes trust in an institution built on centuries of continuity and duty. The global reverberations of the Sussex saga are now impossible to ignore, spreading far beyond the borders of the United Kingdom and capturing attention in ways few could have predicted. International media have jumped on the story, dissecting it from every angle. Some portray it as a long-overdue vindication of the royal family's centuries-old principles. To truly be considered royal, they argue, one must adhere to a strict code of conduct, maintain personal accountability, and uphold the trust of the public who support the institution, no matter how tempting fame or wealth may appear. Royalty, they insist, is not a brand to exploit, it is a responsibility to honour. Meanwhile, others see this as a cautionary tale about the dangerous collision between celebrity culture and historical legacy. When fame, fortune, and public scrutiny meet centuries of tradition and political weight, consequences are unavoidable. In Nigeria, for instance, where Harry and Meghan once sought to leverage a supposed ancestral connection, the government's outright rejection of their visit was widely interpreted as a definitive stand against what many perceived as cultural appropriation and opportunistic exploitation. Even overseas, the message was clear. Royal titles and history are not toys for personal gain, no matter how carefully you package your narrative or market your image. This makes stripping Harry of his title more than just a domestic issue. It has become a global commentary on the limits of post-royal celebrity. Across media outlets, from newspapers to talk shows, from social media threads to Parliament itself, one truth emerges. This saga is no longer just a personal family dispute. It's a real-world case study on what happens when privilege meets unchecked ambition. Every headline, every broadcasted interview, every viral meme ratchets up the pressure, leaving Harry and Meghan under scrutiny from every angle. They are being forced to justify their place in the modern world, weighing personal ambition against inherited honour and trying to reconcile the desire for self-determination with obligations they cannot simply discard. If Parliament follows through, Harry may soon face a future where his royal title, once a passport to influence across continents, is nothing more than a relic of history, stripped of power and mystique, a future in which the promise of freedom from the royal constraints collapses into the harsh reality of irrelevance, public scrutiny, and loss of influence. Analysts are already predicting a surge of media commentary, heated debates, and social media hashtags, including hashtag Strip the Crown, hashtag Windsor Exposed, and hashtag No More Royalty, as petitions multiply and conversations across every corner of Britain and the globe ignite. Even casual weekend discussions at dinner tables or Sunday roasts will turn into debates on what it truly means to be royal in the 21st century. All eyes remain on Harry. Will he mount a dramatic comeback to reclaim relevance? Pivot entirely into a new identity, leaving royal heritage behind? Or quietly step away, accepting that the world is moving on without him as a custodian of tradition? Each potential path will not only define his own future, but also leave a lasting imprint on the monarchy itself. The stakes are higher than personal ambition. They now touch history, legacy, and the global perception of the crown. Across the unfolding saga, one thing is undeniable. When centuries of tradition and public expectation collide with the ambitions of a man determined to rewrite his own story, the consequences are never purely personal. They ripple outward, affecting international perceptions, cultural debates, and the reputation of one of the world's oldest institutions. History, honour, and ambition are colliding in a high-stakes drama where every move carries weight, and the tremors of this cultural earthquake are being felt worldwide. As we close this chapter of the royal saga, one truth stands out. The fight for legacy is far from over. The Sussexes' struggle with the crown, with the media, and with public sentiment has entered a perilous new phase. In today's digital age, where a single tweet, broadcast, or viral video can tip the scales of public opinion, nothing is guaranteed. Will Harry repair his fractured identity? Can he, or Meghan, redefine what it means to be a working royal without the hypocrisies and trappings of the post-royal era? Or will this mark the moment that finally severs the last link between them and the centuries-old legacy of the monarchy? Only time will reveal the answers, but we'll be tracking every development, every headline, every viral video, every interview and social media post will be analysed and dissected. One certainty remains. In the high-stakes chessboard of royal identity, every move counts, and the board has never been more crowded. Every misstep, every revelation, every public outburst could tip the scales irreversibly, altering both their personal futures and the public perception of the monarchy for generations to come. This is a story of ambition clashing with centuries of tradition, of fame meeting the unyielding weight of history, and of a couple who sought freedom but may find the world unwilling to grant it without consequence. The unfolding drama isn't just royal gossip, it's a reflection of the challenges inherent in balancing personal desire, global scrutiny, and historical responsibility. That's it for now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe the House of Lords will succeed in stripping Harry of his titles? What will this mean for the future of the monarchy? We'll be back with more updates on this royal rollercoaster, and you won't want to miss the next twist in the tale of this ongoing saga.